Yep, okay. So anyway, so we're not going to really talk about using this right now. There is, there's a place for that. And it's not that it's not important, but it's just, we don't have time to go through because that's a whole lesson in itself to determine when you have an ambiguous triangle and you can have two triangles, with the obtuse or the acute. So anyway, just so you know, we're not doing that. And that's 7.2. But that is also, we would use the law of signs to determine if it's ambiguous or not. So that's why I just mentioned it. Okay. So so what we want to do on this, and this form can be written in many different ways, but this is the way I prefer to see it. This is the law of signs. This is the formula that you want. Okay. So remember that your capital letters are always your angles and your lowercase are always your sides on your triangle. Sometimes you'll see this upside down. It doesn't matter. It's solved the same way. Okay, I think in your book it's upside down. I just prefer it this way. So if you have a triangle, okay, whatever, it could be any kind of triangle. I don't know that it can be an acute triangle, an obtuse triangle. It's just not right. Okay, it's not a right triangle. So you have your angles A, B, and C. And then the lowercase is always across from the angle. So if this is angle A, across from that was going to be the lowercase a, okay, for the side. So the lowercase are your sides, the capitals are your angles. So this would be little c, and this would be little b. So that's how you always want to set up your triangle, whatever kind of obtuse or acute triangle, okay? Now, we're never going to have an angle, angle, angle. We're never going to have just all three angles. We are not able to solve because that means we don't have any congruence in triangles. If we just know they're similar, we can have similar triangles, but we won't have congruent triangles. So you won't run into an angle, angle, angle. Okay, just so you're aware of that. So let's do a problem here. So we're going to solve the triangle ABC. Okay, given A is 32 degrees. And let me get everything down here. B is 81.8 degrees. Little a is 42.9 centimeters. And I think we were given, okay, that's what we're given. So what we have to find is angle C, side B, and side C. So those are the three things that we're going to look for. Okay, and then we'll have the solve. And once we solve a triangle, it means you have all the angles and you have all the sides. Well, could we find angle C? What do you think? Can I just look at that and find angle C?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me you're right. How would I do that?
Well, it would equal 180. So you would just do 180 minus 81.8 minus 32.
Perfect. Exactly right. Remember, triangles add up to 100, angles add up to 180 degrees. So we just take 180 minus this, and that gives us our C, which in this case is 66.2. So that just saves us from having to solve for it. Okay. Sometimes you have to, but this case we don't. All right, so let's take a look here and let's just go ahead and fill in. Let's look for side B. Let's start with that. So when I come up here, I'm just going to fill out everything I have just to show you, okay, what we have. So we have the sign of A, we have A, and we have little a. We know the B, sign of 81.8. We don't know little b. And we have the sign of C, and we don't know little c. So those are our two unknowns that we don't know. You don't always have to write this out like this. I'm just showing you step by step. So what you're going to do is we're going to find where we can take a proportion and we can solve that proportion, right? So if I did these two, do you recognize I just have one unknown, which is B? So I can do that. I can't choose these because I have two unknowns. I can't solve for two unknowns in there. Now I could do this. I could do A and C if I wanted to do that combination, that proportion. All right, so there's multiple ways to solve these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this proportion right here. We're going to solve for B. So when we solve a proportion, we just cross multiply. That's all we're doing. All right. So if I cross multiply here, I'll have B sine of 32. And then I cross multiply here. Now, if I want to get B by itself, I just divide by the sine of 32, right? To get this by itself, divide by the sine of 32. All right, so we want to find what B equals. Now, we'll probably just round this because this one is, let's just round it to 1 decimal place. So let's get your calculators. And we want to be sure your calculators are in degree mode. That's important. Be sure you're in degree mode for these. And they'll all be in degree mode for sine and cosine. So again, I think you can just put this into your calculator in one full. Go ahead and try and put it in there if you want to and see how you do. I'll kind of try and show you mine as I do it, but you can do it on your own. You don't have to wait for me. So now remember a sine of 81.8. So I get 80.1. So it's approximately 80.1 centimeters. Does everybody get that? You don't have to put it in like I did, but I forgot to put my parenthesis at the end. Okay, questions on that? So you guys, this is the law of sines. That's all it is just doing this computational work. As long as you understand, you're putting it into here. This is the formula, right? This is the formula that you need for law of sines. All right, any questions? All right, well now let's find C. So I now know what B is, so I could put in here an 80.1. I now know this is 80.1. So I just do the same thing again. Well, now I can use this proportion, or I can use the first and this proportion and this one. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever proportion you want. You just got to realize you only can have one unknown. So since I know what B is, I'll just do these two. Okay, so I'm going to take C times the sine of 81.8, this times this, equals 86.1. Oh, that's not, why did I say 86 point? It's 80.1, can't read my own writing. 80.1 times the sine of 66.2. So we would divide. Okay, so let's see what happens when we do that. You tell me what you guys get.
Approximately 74.1.
74.1. Very good.
I used A, but
Yeah, so it doesn't matter, right?
Well, it kind of does because I used both, and with the one that was rounded, I got 70. It would have rounded to 74.0.
Okay,
Instead of 74.1.
totally fine. Good point.
and that's why I used A, because it was
I did
properties
it
given.
both ways just to check.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it doesn't matter. Because we have approximations and we're rounding these to a tenth place anyway, and then these go on infinitely, right? These are irrational. Most of them, not all of them, but we're going to be off. And sometimes it could be off to a degree, but it shouldn't be any more than that. Okay, so, and that's totally fine. Okay, so that's using the law of sines. All right, here's what I want you to do now. I want you to take a look at this. Let me stop sharing here and bring it up. Gotta find it here. Where's it on my desktop? Just a second. I've had meetings all morning, so I'm trying to find where I put this at. Okay. Bear with me 1 second here, you guys. There we go. Ooh, move belt. can get back here. Give me trying to get my, there it is. There we go. Thought I had this up, but I must have. So I'm just going to have it. What I'm working on here is I'm just going to I have a word problem. So I want you to try and work this out in a word problem. And in the word problem, you're only going to have one. Normally, I guess not always, but I shouldn't say that's always the case. All right, let me. All right, so here. Again. You guys see that all right? I want you to take a look at number 3. Okay, we're going to start with number 3 here. So I want to see if you could maybe just draw that picture first. Let's just draw the picture first for number 3. Looks like we're going to find 2 parts on this one. So my son is student teaching and living with me. And so he is taking me back to the teenage days, even though he's into his 20s, in the shower with the music blaring. And so if you can hear it, I apologize. My brother. Okay. So I'm gonna come back to our camera here real quick. I'm gonna stop sharing here. Back to our camera.
Is your son missing going to concert? Is that why?
Well, it could be. I'm not sure what the issue is, but I've kind of forgot about that. And I'm like, holy cow. In the morning, I'm like, what is that? It's him. I don't know when you go out that. Maybe you guys, maybe you don't. I don't know. I would think there would be a time, but all right. Sorry, I had a little trouble here getting my, share my screen here. Come on. There we go. All right, so to the camera. So here's the picture. Is this the picture that you drew? Something like that. I mean, your triangle might look a little different, totally fine. Okay. So these angles are fairly close. Would you agree? These are fairly close. So our sides are probably going to be kind of close too. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So what I want you to do is I want you to use the law of sines to find A and B. And then let's round to 2 decimal places when we find A and B. Okay, so we have sine again, the sine of A. I'm just going to fill in what we have over little a and then determine. And this is the kind of work that I want to see on your exam, you guys, that you can fill this out. So I kind of know where you're going with it over 1/2 or 0.5, either one. Could I find angle C there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so do I need angle C?
Yeah.
You do, right? Because there's 2 unknowns here. So I couldn't solve there, but if I can find C, then I'm good. So what is angle C?
61.
Okay, so 61 degrees, everybody agree with that? And let's put that in for here now. So now you can work it, right? I can go here, or I can do these 2, whichever you want. I'm going to do these two to start, but you can solve it your own way. But I'm going here.
Would we round to 1 decimal?
Let's go 2
Okay.
on this one.
For B, I got 0.41. How could have I gotten a bit of a different answer?
Okay, I can go back. I'll go back and check mine again too.
I got the same answer too, and I think it's because I forgot to divide by sine 61 degrees. Is that right?
Okay.
That could be. I was
Yeah,
just
'cause I
gonna-
got 0.47.
I
okay.
did too.
Okay, just double check it. Yeah, I think you're right, but by dividing by the sign, yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah, I just redid it and I got the 0.47. But
The
I
same
got
thing. Okay,
0.4.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And so did you get here approximately 0.51? Yep, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so this is, A is approximately 0.51 miles. And over here we have was the other 0.47? Okay, so would you agree that this would be 0.50? 1/2 is 0.5 or 0.50 if we round it to, okay, so so you've solved the distance from here to here. So you can see where these can be used actually, like these are used a lot when you're crossing a lake. You're doing different things like that when you don't have a right triangle. There's lots of different things that you can, where you use this. Now, one thing I wanted to remind you of, so the largest angle is going to be the largest side. So if this is my largest angle, across from that should be the largest side. So you can kind of check your work. Here's the smallest angle. So that should be the smallest side, and it is. Okay, so that's a good way just to check. Do you think I'm right on that? Do I think, okay? All right. Sorry, didn't show you that bottom part. Questions on that? All right. So let's talk about the area. So area, this is area of a triangle, and I'm going to teach you 2 formulas. All right. So later we're going to do Heron's formula, and Heron's formula is used when we have 3 sides of a triangle. We don't have any angles. But what we do when we use this, this area, this is the one that's used the most often. But what we have to use it is we have to have a side angle side congruence pattern. So that means I might have to work my triangle a little bit, solve some sides or get an angle in order to get the side angle side before I can find the area. It may not just be given to me that way. Does that make sense? So it's gonna be given to you today, but here's area of a triangle. Now, this again is a triangle that's not a right triangle. And sometimes what we usually don't have, sometimes on an oblique triangles, we don't have a height on it. That's usually the thing that's kind of difficult sometimes to find. I know you can use your geometry and find the altitude, but that sometimes is what we're not given is the height. So, so then therefore we're not able to solve it if we don't know the height of a triangle, because the height of a triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height. So that's when we want to use these formulas with our cosines, all right, and our sines. So this one is sine, the Heron's formula, we'll use the other, but so here it's really easy to kind of memorize. So the area, and the reason why you have 3 different formulas is because you have different possibilities, but it's really just manipulating the formula. Okay, so it's always 1/2. And this is going to be the angle between the 2 sides. So it's always the other 2 sides, which are BC. Okay. And then it's always going to be sine of the angle that falls between them. So the other, that's the formula. So if I have, let's say I have sides AC. So we have sides AC, then what's my sine going to be here?
B.
B, it's good. It's the one that's going to fall between that AC. So the other one, let's see, what is the other combination I have? BC, AB. So we have AB, and then we would have the sine of C. I shouldn't leave a gap there. There shouldn't be a gap there. And so that's just the same formula, really. It's just depending on what 2 sides and what angle that you have for that. So like I said, I'm going to give you one that's already in the side angle side congruence pattern. But if you didn't have that, then you would need to work your triangle to get whatever side angle side. Now, one thing I am going to do here is, you're kind of noisy. Sorry. We were listening to your music while you were in the shower.
You could hear that?
Yeah, we could hear it.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Yeah. It was real disrupting. All right. So, let me give you, we're going to have angle B, and we're going to put this one in degrees and minutes. So we're going to have 55 degrees and 10 minutes. Good luck. See ya. And lost my place here. A is 34 feet. And then we would have C is 42 feet. Okay. So if this is the information I'm given, that's how I know that I have these 2 sides. I'm going to go here, right? All right, so let's put it into the area formula. So area equals 1/2 A times C, so 34 times 42, and then sine of 55 degrees, 10 minutes. So I don't know if you remember how to put that in your calculator. He's gone. All right, I don't know if you know how to put this in your calculator, but we can do it here if you want to. If you know how, great. Trying to show it, it's hard to do both here. All right, so we'll have, you can use 0.5 or 1/2, whatever you want. 34 times 42. And then we have the sine of, do you remember how to do the degree? So it's sine of 55 second apse is where we find that angle. Second apse, 1. And then 10 minutes, so second apse 2. Oops, not 2. Yeah, it's 2. I'm spinning the wrong one. So if we round it, just round it to a whole number. Didn't really tell you that. So it's approximately 586 feet is the area of that triangle squared. Remember, area is always squared. It's that, I mean, it's not difficult. And all of these are really just calculating. So any error that you have usually is just through calculations. And I know when I was looking at some of these on MATLAB, and they always rounded to the minute. So it was easy to get off on MATLAB with these because we didn't have the minutes. Okay, how do you feel about that? Any questions? Area of a triangle, side angle side. Be sure you find a side angle side pattern. Maybe you have to do that first, but then you can find the area of the triangle. All right, so let's move. That's law of sines. That's 7.2. 7.1 people. All right, so now let's look at 7.3. So 7.3 is the law of cosines.
Sorry, just real quick. You said that we could put the area formulas on the sheet too, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You can do the law of sines, law of cosines, and the 2 area triangles you're going to learn today.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so law of cosines. So again, this is kind of like this area. There's 3 different ways you can do the law of cosines, but it depends on what information you're given. So law of cosines is used when we have a side angle side pattern or a side pattern. And the thing is you'll look at a side angle side and you'll recognize that you don't have what you need for the law of sines. It won't work because you have 2 unknowns in there. So you'll be able to, if you try to do it that way, you'll be able to see it won't work. So But if you know it ahead of time, it just kind of helps. So you know which one to use. Okay. All right. So law of sines. So a squared, okay, that's your side. So over here, it's going to be the other two sides that we add together. Okay. And it's always minus 2 times these two sides. So times B times C. Okay. And then it's cosine of the angle of this opposite that. So cosine A. And you don't have to put those in parentheses. I just do. Okay. So maybe we want to find side B, or we want to find, you know, depending on what we want to find. So we could also have B squared. So what are these two going to be? What are my other two sides?
A and C.
Yeah, good. So A squared plus C squared. So it's easy to memorize. Minus 2. And then we have AC. So again, you don't have to put the parentheses in here if you don't want to. Whatever these two sides are. And there's going to be cosine of the opposite side of this. So cosine of B. And then the other one obviously is going to be C squared. So my other two sides are going to be A and B. Minus 2 AB cosine of the opposite of this, which would be C. So it's really pretty, if you know, if you use it enough, you kind of just memorize that and have it down, but I don't mind you writing it down on your papers to have, because we haven't had a lot of time to work on it. Normally I would not have you do the law of sines and law of cosines on your notes, but because we have one day to learn it. All right, so let's solve a triangle. So let's solve triangle ABC. Okay, so solve triangle ABC. A is 94.7 feet. B is, lost my place here, 15.9. And C is 21.1. So notice we have a side, side, side. If you want to draw out the triangle, draw it out. If you don't want to, I don't care, you don't have to. So you have ABC here. So this is 94.7, little b would be across here, 15.9, and this would be 21.1. So solving the triangle, we're just trying to find all three angles. So if we find two angles, right, then we are good because we can find the third. So let's just start, doesn't matter. Let's start with, I don't even know what I used over here on mine. I was gonna, let's start with a squared. Let's go with this one. So I have any opportunity, you can do any of them. I'm just choosing A. So a squared would be 94.7 squared, okay, equals your other two sides, 21.1 squared plus, doesn't really matter what order, okay, minus 2 times these sides again, 21.1, but they're not squared, just the sides, cosine, and because we're doing A, this is the one I chose, it's going to be cosine A. So we're trying to find angle A as our unknown. Okay, so this can almost be done in one step. I would probably say do it in a couple steps, all right? So I'm going to go on my calculator and I'm going to take 94.7 squared. And if I subtracted these over, right, because I'm going to solve for A, cosine A. So I'm going to subtract these over. So that's how I'm going to start. 94.7 squared minus 21.1 squared minus 15.9 squared, because I would have all of those over on this side. All right, so I think I already did that. That's why I can't read my writing very well. 608.3. Tell me if this is right or wrong. So 608. You guys can check that and see if I have it. Now I went ahead then, and again, you can double check. We rounded to 2 decimal places. I went ahead and multiplied these together as well. And so I got a negative 670.98 cosine A. So might have to do it in a couple steps. Don't try and do it. I don't think you want to do it all in one step, you guys, on your calculator, okay? So everybody understand where I got these numbers from? Okay, so if I'm going to get cosine A, eventually we're trying to get A by by itself. So here, right, that's going to give me cosine A. So if I'm trying to solve for A, what do I have to do to the cosine here? Remember? Yeah, you're going to use the inverse cosine. So the inverse cosine of whatever this is, I'll just write it out. That's going to give you angle A. So you guys work that out and tell me what you get. Approximately. Well, let's round it to a whole degree. Any brave souls?
I got 26. I don't know if it's right though.
Okay, I had 25, so that's just a matter of rounding probably in there. So maybe I didn't round it. I don't know. Did everybody get 26 or 25?
I got 26.02.
Okay. So let's go with 26. 26 approximately what A equals. So now we know this is approximately 26 degrees. So now I got to find either B or C. So I'm not going to go through and do that with you because it's time consuming. But now I would just go and do either one of these two. I have everything I need. And then maybe I will do B. Once I find B, then I can just subtract from 180 and find what angle C is. And you've solved the triangle. Okay, do you have a question on that? This is kind of important when you do this though, so be really careful. This should always be come out to be a negative. It should always come out to be a negative because you need this to be a positive, right? When we're done. If this answer turns out to be negative, then we can't do cosine of negative number. And also if it turns out to be larger than 1, then we can't, there's going to be no triangle because we can't take the cosine of a number 1 or larger because it's out of our domain range, right? Our range from -1 to 1, a cosine. So just keep that in mind. I'm not giving you anything like that, but just so you're aware. Okay, do you feel like you need to do another one or can we do a word problem on it? Where you have to do the process? Okay, let's do a word problem on it. Okay, so on this one, we're going to do number, let's see, what did I put here? I think number 1 is a law cosines here. Okay, let's look at number 1. So draw the picture. And then you're just looking for one part on this one. We're not solving a triangle. So find whatever it's asking for on there. Draw your triangle out. See if you can solve it. I don't think that's the one I did. Can you hold on 1 second? You probably already started on it. I don't think that's the one I did. And I want to do the one I did because it was a pretty good one for you guys. Maybe actually, I thought it was number 1. It's number 5. Sorry about that. Although number 1 was also using a law of cosines, I will tell you that. It was a side angle side, so. But I kind of like this one. Let's again round to a whole degree here, okay? Somebody gets an answer, let me know. Any answers for the degree of Niagara Falls? Not yet.
How many digits did you want to round to
Let's
again?
do a whole, just a whole degree.
So around 40 degrees, approximately 40 degrees.
Now I got 81.
Oops. Did
That's
I look
okay.
at the wrong one?
Nope.
I got
Oh, that's
81
the
as
angle
well.
for Denver. Whoops.
Oh. So I go do it all again, but
Yeah,
you
I just did the
understand.
wrong one.
it's just understanding the process.
I got 7 only because I put sine in, not cosine.
Oh, yeah, that'll really make a difference. And so that's the thing, it's just the little errors that are easy to make. So just be sure it kind of makes sense.
What angle did you get?
I got an 81 degree angle.
Okay, I got 83. I don't know how, but it's close enough.
Yeah, so it is close enough. I mean, well, it's a little bit more than a degree, so I would kind of question it a little bit. But it's fine. I mean, I think it's fine. The thing is there's no, we didn't have to round anywhere in here. So these are all whole numbers. So really, you should end up with this exact same thing that I got. So double check your numbers here and be sure those numbers are the same. And then try and put it in your calculator again. Be sure you're in degree mode and then try putting it in again.
I don't know what I'm doing, but like the last problem, I also got the top number wrong. And then this problem, I got the top number wrong. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, I
Okay.
last
Wasn't able to match the
problem I
last
couldn't
problem
figure out that
either.
top number. Yeah, I
Then
was
it was
getting a positive number.
the 94 squared does not compute with the other numbers.
Talking about this one?
The
I
first
should have
one we
said, I
did.
was like, I didn't want to be the
Yeah.
one to speak out, but yeah, I was getting a positive number there for that negative 608.
Okay, well, you guys
Because like
Me
gotta
too.
94
yeah.
squared minus, 21 plus 15 squared is going to be positive.
Did you get?
That's what I had, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's wrong.
Me too.
Yeah, that's what I kept coming up
Let me
with.
see what I did on mine earlier.
But everything after, when you had that 608, that all like made sense. I'm like, I just messed something up.
I
I put it in my calendar like 17 times.
No. Well, you guys gotta say something on that. No, that's, let me shut that off. Let's see here. I just gotta look.
I thought I was just doing my math wrong and I didn't want to go back and check it again to see if it actually did it wrong.
So I don't know. Let's see, because you guys all got that, huh? And I got it the next time I did it too. I was just going off what I. But it should be a
Maybe it
negative
was
number.
supposed to be like
It should be a negative
9.47
number.
or something, you know?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like it's that 94 squared that's throwing everything else off.
Because that side is so much longer than the other two.
It's
If it was a
way-
9, it probably would have made sense. 9.4 instead of 94.7.
Oh, well, see, I have 9.47.
Oh, okay. What we wrote down was 94.7.
Did I write? I might have written it down wrong on my paper.
Yeah, you wrote it down as 94.7.
Well.
So
no
that'll do
wonder.
it.
That
No
would do it.
wonder. Sorry, my phone's, okay. See, you found the solution without any, so I wrote it down wrong on my original. So right, oh, it's right here. That should be a 9.47. Okay, you don't have to go back and redo it. Good job recognizing that, but please say that at the time. Don't ever be shy about finding an error in here. That's important. All right, so are there any questions here with the 81 degrees? We good? Okay, then we have one last thing to talk about, and this is doing the Heron's triangle. And so it's, let me get my calculator out of the way here. All right, so here on Heron's formula, this is used for area also. Okay, it's also used for area, but this is used when we have the side. Okay, so just like the problems we've been doing with the law of cosines when we have three sides. Now remember, law of cosines can be used with side angle side as well. We just worked it with the three sides. Okay, so here's your formula for this. So the first formula is you have to find what S is, and S is called the semi-perimeter, and that's just like half the perimeter of the triangle. So it's just going to be 1/2 of your three sides added together. And that's called the semi-perimeter. You don't have to necessarily know that, but
So it's pretty
that's
much
what
a-
S
kind of
stands
like a radius is to our circle.
what's that?
It's almost like a radius to a circle.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But the radius isn't really half the perimeter. It's half the diameter, right? So it's a little bit different, but. All right, so area then is going to equal the square root of the semi-perimeter. And then it's just taking that semi-perimeter minus each of the sides. So you have to find this first, perimeter divided by 2. And that, so I see like when I've taught this before, my students were all like, oh, so S stands for side length. No, it's not side length, it's semi-perimeter. So be sure you recognize, because you have side, right, that we're using. So it's easy to think of it as a side, but it's not. So let's say we have a trip here and we're going to find, so the distance, I'm just going to give you this. This isn't the best drawing, but it'll work. Sometimes your drawings don't match your, right? They're not in proportion. Just be aware of that. So we have Los Angeles, we have Montreal and New York. Okay, they're triangular states there. So the distance between these two is 24, and I'm going to write these down correctly. 24, 27. And now this is the distance on a map. So this is millimeters. Okay, and then this one's 2451 millimeters. And this one is 331 millimeters. All right, so what I want you to do is tell me, what is the area between those that creates this triangle? What's the area within that triangular region between those three cities? So you want to find S first, right? You know your three sides, and then put it into the area formula. It's kind of a lot to write out, but I do want to see you write it out, but I know it's a lot. I'm going to do mine below so you don't see me do it. There we go. And we can just round this to, let's round this to the nearest 100.
Mine's just saying error.
So be careful that you have the correct numbers in there. That means you probably have a negative under the radical. So be sure, I'm just trying to look here to see.
Maybe I got the wrong S. I don't. I'll
What'd you
try
get for S?
189.89.
Okay, I got 2,604.5.
That's
Oh,
what I
wow.
got.
That's
Okay.
also what I
So
got.
try that again. Yeah, just try adding these together and dividing them by 2. That's
Okay.
where that is good.
So rounded, I got 401,700, but that seems really
That's what I
high.
got. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it said right the answers in miles. That's why I put miles squared on there because it's you know, it's in the middle there, but.
I still got 189.89.
Okay, so let me do it with you here. So we have 2427, right? Oops. And then we're gonna add to 2451 and add 331 and then divide it by 2 or times it by 1/2. It's the same thing.
I know what I was doing.
Okay, got it?
I put decimals in.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You're following after your teacher, just making up your own numbers, putting them in there. I probably taught you that, but don't put that on my evaluation. Then I taught you that. Okay. Just kidding. So like I said, this is really just a lot of calculations and all of these, right? Just getting it into the calculator correctly is the biggest issue. So
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bob.
For my final answer, I got 404,192.7.
Say again, 404, 9.
44192.
Okay, so did you get 2604.5 for your semi-perimeter?
Yes.
Okay, so I think, Belle, probably there's just, you might have a little error in these, and I think I did these earlier. Oh, I thought I wrote those out.
So
Yeah,
I had 177.5,
Okay.
153.5, and 2273.5. I don't know if I had mine in the same order as yours though.
And this is
Yeah.
331. And then I know, did you say I had, I think I had, what'd you have for the
So
331?
that one would have been the 2273.5. That would have been the big one
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah, I just took the whole thing underneath the square root and put it in there in my calculator and then square rooted it.
Yeah, that's kind of where the problem is because is this 153.5?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Bill, that's where, I mean, it isn't that you can't do that. It's just, it's easy to have an error in there when you do that. Because when I did it the first time, I also had an error. So I had to go back and I went ahead and looked at them individually just to be sure. And I had a negative, one of mine was coming up as a negative number because I had written 1,604.5. So, you know, it's just, it's easy to make a tiny error in that whenever you do. So just double check it and just try it and see if you can get it that. I think this should be what you should get on that. Okay, so that 2 different ways, right? For 2 different type of triangles. So Heron's formula, again, if you just have all 3 sides, otherwise you would use the area of a triangle, but you have to get it into a set angle side congruence pattern before you use it. So tell me questions that you might have. How do you feel about it? It's not bad stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we could do this a little bit earlier, but I think all, you know, everything's important, but this is really things that you use. This is really applicable to things that you can do when you're, I mean, any kind of time you're going to use triangles in geometry, when you're welding, when you're, you know, whenever. There's so many different places that you would use this. So I wish we could have spent a little bit more time on it, to be honest, but I think you're good with it. It's not a difficult, it's just time consuming and takes a little bit of Let me get out of here. Okay. All right. So you have a worksheet. It says 7.1 and 7.3. It's just these things right here. I gave you the answers so you can double check them. So look at your answers so you know where to round. Okay, that might help a little bit too beforehand if you know where to round. Now be sure you guys get signed in the chat. I just say Denise is the only one in there right now, so get signed in. Do you have any questions for me? This is our last class. Thanks for being such a great class, you guys. You've been a lot of fun. Thoroughly enjoyed teaching you. I hope you wish you lots of success, and I'll be on campus if you ever need to swing by and have questions, or just to drop by and say hi, please do that. Okay, I'd love to see you later, see how you're doing.
I'll definitely be
wish
looking
you-
out for your name when signing up for math classes in the future. You teach
I
the
appreciate that.
calculus and higher?
I just do a business calculus right now.
Oh,
Yeah, and
okay.
I don't have any of the, no, there's only one offered on those. So those are usually going to the people who've been here, who kind of, yeah, no, I don't have any of those.
Darn.
But thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is a fun class. I like this, and I wish we could have done it face to face, because there's so many things that we could do that's a little bit more fun than just me talking the whole entire time, which I appreciate you sitting through. I know it gets really boring, but just coming to class and participating and doing your work, you guys have done a fantastic job. And I bragged on you in my math departments before, saying my trig class is great, and they do, so I do appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck. All right. So if you have any questions, be sure you get in touch with me on anything. I will, like I said, I will get those things posted. I don't have my list right here in front of me that I had, but I'll have your review posted. Your exam should be ready to go. I didn't put a time limit on it, so you should be good on that. Let me know if you have any questions when you first get on, though. Unless you get on at 1 a.m., then I'm probably not going to answer that, people. Okay. All right, but I'll be up at 6 a.m. So if you want to wait till 6, I'll be there. All right. So take care, you guys. I wish you the best of luck, and
Thank you
good
so
luck
much.
with your work. Holler if you have any questions. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
See you later,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Could you
Bye-bye.
hang out real
Bye.
quick?
Sure.
So I just had a quick question about Math Lab. You were talking about it.
Okay.
Only a couple of my Canvas grades have updated.
Okay. So tell me which ones. Tell me which ones are not updating.
So,
Like, are you talking about like way back in other chapters, other chapters too, or just
no,
these-
like 5 and 6.
just 5 and 6? Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
None of them except for 3, 4, and 5B. Those are the only 3 that have come through.
Okay, let's take a look at it then. Let me see if I can get on here where. Yeah, I think I can get on there through here. Okay, let's take a look at it. I should not be. Actually, I'm gonna have to bring it up. Give me just a second here. I just did it before class, like maybe an hour before class started. So, but you should be able to see it. All right. All right, so let's take a look here. So I'm just gonna write now, normally, because I just did all of them. Let me just, normally I would just do all of them, but I'm just gonna do the ones that for 5 and 6 that we, okay, so, so 5, 1, and I can't remember. Which
It was
ones?
like 5, 1, and then
Was-
6, 1, and 6, 4. Right?
Okay, because 5, 2 was a worksheet, right?
Right, and so was
Okay.
a big chunk of, and so was 6, 2, and 3.
Right, okay, so 6, 1 and 6, 4, right, okay. So those others, they're unpublished, so I don't know, I never know exactly what you guys see when but okay, let's sync these grades right here and see if that makes a difference for you. And then
Yep,
I
it
can. What's that, Belle?
Yep, it shows up now.
It does show up now? Okay.
I see
You
mine.
got him now? Okay. So you know what might have happened is I synced him about an hour ago, but then I went to a different page and maybe it stopped syncing when I went to another page. I'm not sure why that happened, but good. As long as it's on now and you can see him, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for
Yeah.
checking with that. I appreciate it, Jacob.
Yeah, and a little weird because you have mentioned a few times that they're unpublished, but I'm still seeing every single section.
And does it show their grades? You're seeing all of it on there, huh?
Yeah, like they don't have grades. I mean, there's not really anything to put there either, but
Okay.
I just got all the listings.
All that, which is huge, right? This whole list, I was just looking here. Yeah, and that's what I don't always know what you guys see. So like when I unpublish these, I'm not really sure. Because I don't want to delete them. We're just not getting to them. So,
Right.
but it doesn't have a grade on it, right?
No.
Okay, all right. So that's the main thing. And so that 5354, yeah. And then we have the B's up here. Okay, good. Good. Well, I'm glad that and I'll fix the chapter 5s because like I said, I gave the other assignments for them, but some people had already done them, so they're all showing. So if you see a 0 in that, don't feel bad. I'm going to take them out.
Okay.
Okay. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, maybe I should do that right now. So anybody who's looking at these, which one did we do a worksheet on? We did 5-1, right?
We did 5-1. We had 5-2 as a worksheet, and then 6.3 and no 6.2 and 6.3 is a worksheet.
Okay. What about 5.5?
5.5 we had that 5.5B you had us do.
Okay. So those are, I'm going to just sync that again, just so those won't show up. I'm just going to sync them all. So those should be unpublished and I'll sync, let me just double check down here. Yeah. Let me go back here. And I'll just resync all the grades just because I'm getting lazy. And we'll see that should take those out of there that were not.
Oh, my grade book is so short.
That's not a bad thing, is it?
No?
Yeah. These just take a while to sync sometimes. So I need to, oh yeah, I gotta go change that worksheet. Get that done. So I'll go change the date still on 5 and 6 though as well.
Okay. Oh no, they're back.
All the ones that we just did came back.
Yeah.
Does it have, what are they showing for grades on like 5-1? I mean, on like 5-2? The regular ones, not the Bs.
None of them have grades except for 5-2, which is a 0 for some reason, and I don't know why.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to go through and look at that. I don't know. I'll go through and fix it. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Okay, math lab. I'm gonna go look at it in just a second anyway, to make it longer. So give you the open it up again. So I'll look at that. Don't worry about it. I mean, maybe I should write down here that you did 5.1 and then the Bs, right? And then 6.1 and 6.4.
Yeah.
Right, so 5.1 and then the Bs on the 5s, and that was it, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. I will work on that.
Okay.
Sound good? Thanks for letting me know. Yep, I'll work on that. We'll get it figured out. Okay, well, thanks, Jacob. Have a good one.
You as well. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Belle, did you have a question?
I'm just planning
Bye.
on
Okay, see you later.
coming in on the next office hours because I don't currently have any questions. Because I did get the math labs done. They're not done super well, but at least they're done.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. Okay.
I have just got a lot of stuff to do.
It sounds like you have a lot going on. Will you just do the best you can? Now, I will not have office hours Monday because, well, I don't have them during finals week. So if you have a question, just email me, okay? If you have something that you have a question on, and then we can I can kind of talk about it with that. And if maybe find time to set up a Zoom if we need to, but I don't have them during office hours because I'm giving finals actually, so,
Okay.
okay.
Well, could we maybe go over one on the homework? Because I was just kind of confused during class.
Sure, what do you have? Oh, let me stop recording here.